Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing the monthly closeout for May, and I'm going to shrink myself down into the corner. Let me just make sure that I flip myself on top because I always seem to forget to do that. And I'm going to leave myself down in this corner just for a moment because I don't have a lot of overspending, so it's not going to take me a lot of time to cover that. And I did get a question about the age of money number up here and how I got it so far in advance. And the truth is, I don't pay a lot of attention to this number up here because YNAB has a weird way of calculating that, first of all. And second of all, I have all of my savings accounts linked to my budget, and it takes into account all of that money. So that's probably why it like gives the appearance that it's like 2 year is that 2 years? Like I'm 2 years ahead. Um but I am a little over a month ahead in my budget. Like I have enough to, like, basically the money that comes in the current month is enough to fund the next month. And I have like a little bit of reserve. I think I had mentioned it in one of my other videos, like that I had like a goal to get the miscellaneous line in my monthly paycheck budget up to $3,900, and I'm not there yet, but that would give me like basically maybe not quite 2 full months because that doesn't include groceries and gas. It would just cover bills. But anyways, yeah, I don't pay too much attention to that. But some things that I have noticed when watching other YouTubers, um, that I figured might be helpful to some of you is that one of the biggest things I see people doing when they cover overspending, they use ready to assign up here. Okay, sorry about that. The phone was ringing, so I had to kind of pause and restart. But one of the most common things that I see a lot of new YouTubers doing when they do, like if they put out a YouTube video, is that they cover their overspending with money from ready to assign. So ready to assign is your future money, right? Like that's the new money that came in. So rather than use ready to assign, you need to look for where the money that you already had, because essentially that's what you did. You spent money, you know, that you hopefully already had, unless you use a credit card, which that's like probably a whole nother video. But you, because you're basically robbing your future self when you do that, when you use ready to assign to cover past spending. So what I like to do when I have overspending is, well, first of all, I've gotten to a point in my budget where I actually I specifically leave a margin because I know no budget is perfect. Like that's why when you see like actual budget books or paper books, they always have like the budgeted column and then the actual column. So there's always going to be some flex there. Um, so I always like to leave a margin, and like kind of this line right here, this savings sweep line is exactly that. But if you didn't have that, you need to look for other categories in your budget, maybe vacation or something that you can pull from rather than pull from the new money coming in. Because if you keep pulling from the new money coming in, you're not going to break that paycheck to paycheck cycle and get ahead. So you just really got to kind of like look within your current categories for the coverage. And that's like one of my biggest tips. The second thing that we did to get a little bit ahead is we kind of operate on a 2 paycheck cycle. So my husband has a job where he gets paid bi-weekly. And so basically in a bi-weekly paychecks scenario, a lot of people look forward to that month where there's the third paycheck. And we have that set up, that scenario, where every couple months there is that third paycheck. But we treat it in a two paycheck cycle. So it's paycheck one, paycheck two, paycheck one, paycheck two. And so eventually you're going to end up ahead. So like in our case, by the end of October, we have all the way through December covered because we've had those extra paychecks. And now what I do is I reset. So that last paycheck in December starts paycheck one for January. But in the past, I didn't do that. In the past, I would let it keep going. And so I was getting further and further ahead. But I got to maybe about 6 to 8 months ahead. And at the time, I wasn't using YNAB, and it just started to get a little bit confusing. It might not have been so bad with YNAB, I don't know, but on paper it was just getting a little bit too much to manage, so I decided to do that like reset in December. And so there's a gap from like the end of October till like the end of December where we have 2 or 3 paychecks, I'm not sure which, that come in that really they're like bonus paychecks at the end of the year. And we use that. I use that initially because, to be honest, we go over on Christmas every year. And so initially I use it for that. But there's usually more, like, I don't go over that much on Christmas. And so then I reconcile that into January and I, like, use it to get either we used it initially in that time to get, like, a few months ahead and break that paycheck to paycheck cycle. But then now I just put it towards whatever our savings goals are. So, like, if you are on a bi-weekly pace cycle, that may be something that you want to do where you just treat it like you only get 2 paychecks a week, no matter what. Or, I'm sorry, 2 paychecks a month, no matter what. And then you can kind of be able to get ahead that way. So, those are my 2 tips for like getting ahead. Is just, treating it as if you only get 2 paychecks in the month, even when there is the extra one. And then also making sure that you're not covering overspending with with ready to assign money, because that's essentially like, if you think about it, if you get paid, I don't know, on a Thursday and then Wednesday, or the, two and however your pay cycle is, the following Wednesday, let's say you get paid weekly, and then the following Wednesday you get your new paycheck and you're using that new paycheck to cover past purchases, you're kind of going backwards. So you really got to kind of try hard to look for other categories, and just readjust there, if you can. So those are like the 2 biggest ways that we used to break that paycheck cycle and kind of get ahead. I hope that kind of answered your question, is helpful. Like I said, this age of money in the corner, I don't pay too much attention to that. It just, because like I said, I have my savings accounts and everything linked, so that's not really an accurate representation, at least to me anyway. But yeah, so we are going to now go into our overspending for the month of May and cover all that overspending. So let me just see. Let me move myself up here so that I'm not covering the actual overspending. There we go. So for the month of May in groceries, we actually had an overspending of $229.86, and I'm gonna actually cover that overspending with this margin that I keep. So what I'm going to put $229.86 to groceries. Okay, and then I'm going to cover, I had to register my son for CCD class, and that was more money than we had in there. So I'm going to cover the $111 in overspending from there as well. And then I had bought ink for the printer, so I'm going to cover that $6.10. And then we bought Frontline for our dogs. That's like a tick medication for those of you that don't know. So that was, I'm sorry, what was that? $5.49. So that was $5.49 for Frontline for our dogs. And now we have covered all of our overspending, and we have $963.95 left. And that I just sweep into our savings. So I do have a little sticky note here. Rather than pull up our actual savings lines, I just figured I would tell you, out of that $936.95, $131.58 is going to go into our youngest daughter's college account. $253.27 of that money is going to go into our son's college account. $200 of that money is going to go to a new car, and $379.10 is going to go to our retirement. So you do have an idea of where that breakdown is going in our savings categories, or at least some of our savings categories. So that is our monthly closeout for May, and I will see you in the next video where we budget out the monthly paycheck for May. Talk to you soon. Bye.